Hello, we are back with Camden for the next part in this series on running ads to a Shopify website. If you are a Shopify site owner, you want to run Facebook ads, there's a lot of places you can run ads, but I would recommend you start on Facebook because Facebook kind of knows the most about people. Other sites know a lot, but Facebook knows a creepy amount, but we can use that to get our amazing products in front of amazing people. And so that's what we've been doing with Camden. So in this video, we're going to check in, show you how to analyze what's going on Facebook. Because after you run ads, sometimes you're like, is this working? Is it not working? We're actually going to look into those numbers today. And I'll just walk her through what to look for and how to optimize, because Facebook ads typically, spoiler alert, they don't work the first time. It's kind of like buying data at first. And we want to see what's working, what's not working, turn off all the stuff that's not working, and just keep improving the stuff that is working until it becomes profitable, hopefully. If we aren't able to get it profitable, then we have to start thinking creatively, how can we increase the price of the product? Or how can we get leads or clicks for a lower rate? So we're going to dive into that today, show you guys some numbers, and hop over to the computer screen over here where Camden will share her screen and we'll go for it. Ready, set, go. All right, you guys remember Camden. We are just so lovely matching today, Camden. We did not plan this, but I guess this is the theme is money, green. This is going to be a profitable day, hopefully. So when we go to her business manager, when you're running some ads, I typically like to go to the ads manager to kind of check on it. This view here is a newer view on Facebook. I'm just not actually used to it. So I don't even know what happens when I click here. Does it take me to the ads manager? Oh, okay, it does. Okay. So it does take us to the ad manager. This is the view that I'm a little bit more comfortable with in digging into the numbers, the campaigns, ad sets, the ads. And so if you aren't seeing this, just go to business.facebook.com/ads manager, and that should take you there. Or if you're not using the business manager, just go to facebook.com/ads manager, and it should take you to something that's like this. You want to double check you're in the right account if you have multiple accounts. But yeah, this looks right. Does this look right to you?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. The next thing I'll do is I always will set the date range, because sometimes people are like, oh no, I've only spent $1, but it's it was just on today or something, right? So we were running these, I guess last month, was that right?
At least.
Been a while. So we could also do just lifetime. So we could go to lifetime because we haven't run this campaign before, we created this campaign. So we could just go to lifetime. But if you guys are using existing campaigns, something like that, you want to set that date range. And it is kind of nice to compare this. So as we do this, let's say you're running ads for a long time, you could look at the last 30 days, but then you could also look at, let's look at the last 7 days, and let's look at yesterday. Because sometimes when you look at the big average, it doesn't look that great, but you look at it over time, it's it's actually getting better and better. So play around with those date ranges, but let's go lifetime for this example. All right, so from here, what I'll do is I will start to dig into some of the numbers. It does look like we are tracking some things, which is awesome. It looks like we have 10 purchases, and it says the cost per purchase is about $55. Now, the product we're selling actually kind of varies because people could go on your site and buy different stuff, right? What's kind of your product range, starting at all the way up to?
It starts at 20 and it goes up to 350.
Okay, cool. So 20 to 350. And so this would definitely be interesting to look into to see what purchases were these? What were the numbers? Because if you pay $55 a purchase and someone's buying a $20 product, we're losing money in the short term, but with your business, you're building a brand, and these people could be lifetime customers. I think Coca-Cola is probably the prime example of this. They'll pay so much to get one, person to buy one can of Coke, let's say. They'll spend so much on advertising because they know the lifetime value of that customer is actually way higher. I don't even know what the numbers are, but it's probably crazy. With art, maybe a little bit less, but I think these people could be potentially repeat purchasers. Do you have any idea, just looking at your sales and things like that, do you have a guess of what these were?
No, some of them were the actual cow that we were advertising. I know at least half of them were.
Okay, cool. And then
the
half
other
the
half
people,
I don't remember.
Maybe they went to your site, they looked at the cow, but they went and bought something else.
Yes.
Okay, because Yeah, if you remember right, if you've been watching the series, if you haven't been, go watch the other videos because it'll explain why we're talking about cows. But yeah, we basically are marketing to people who are really like on Facebook. They have shown interest in this specific style of cow, and Camden has a beautiful art piece of this specific style cow. So we want to always stack the deck in our favor instead of just running an ad that's just like people who like art to my art, you know, like you want to be a little more specific and see like, all right, if we could reduce this and increase our odds that this person's going to like what I'm showing them, that's what we did. So, okay, so this looks good. Let's see here. Let's dig into a little bit of the numbers in each campaign, because I remember we are running 3 different kind of campaigns. And when we look at the average, actually it says $55 a purchase. But when we look here, we can actually see this guy is skewing the average a little bit higher because this was the Highland cow, just the broad interest. That one actually cost about $82 a purchase, while these ones actually were $36 and $40 a purchase. And this one actually got the most purchases at, well, actually even with that one at 4. So that's actually kind of cool. And so we'll dig into this further before we do anything, but these ads are they still running right now? They are. Okay, $10 a day, still running, cool. So actually what I would probably do, honestly, is I would turn this one off. Okay. Because it's you know, way more expensive, skewing the average out. If we can get purchases for $36, I want to do that all day. And because we set our budget here, this $10 actually gets split between these 3 campaigns. And so when we turn this off, just by clicking that right there, this is new. Pausing because of higher CPA? Yeah. Okay, that's new. I haven't seen that before. Facebook's like, no, keep paying us money, please.
No, and not get any results. Okay.
Yeah, but we're like, no. Okay, if we want to spend $10 a day, let's make more of that $10 go to things that are more affordable. Yeah. So this actually looks good. I probably would leave both these on, but let's dig into this even further. Because I think in each one of these ads, actually, you know what? We should have done that. We should have done that before I turned that off. We can always turn it back on. But let's look in here, because maybe out of these 3 ads, there's actually just one that's actually really expensive. There it is. You see that?
Yeah.
Wow. And this was actually only $20 a purchase. So I jumped the gun. So you guys are learning from my mistakes. Let's turn that back on. And then let's turn these off. So we're going to turn this one off. And then we're going to turn, did this one even spend any money? Sometimes Facebook does this where it's like, this one didn't even really do anything. Yeah. But let's just turn that off too. Because at this point, you've been running these ads for a while. So we're going to be a little bit more ruthless with these and just really trim it down, because I want you to get like the lowest cost purchase possible, because if we can get it to be under what people are spending, then you can scale it up.
Right. Okay.
So is that kind of making sense so far? Do you have any questions of what I'm doing, like looking at the numbers?
Nope, it totally makes sense.
Cool.
I like it when it's very black and white like this.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's spending too much, turn it off. But a lot of people, they did jump this gun a little bit too quickly, and you've done really good. You've had this ad running, look, it looks like 55 days now, almost 2 months. Yeah. You've been having this running. So it's bought us a lot of really good data on what's working and what's not. And sometimes people just turn it off before they have any purchases. Or even like, you know, I don't know. The example I always give is when I first started really running ads and like really diving into this, it cost me about, I don't know, it was like $300 to get a $27 purchase. Like it was like, wow, like any normal person would say turn that off, right? But that little warning that Facebook popped up is true, that these will get better over time. But like, of course, we can't spend money forever. So we want to optimize it, especially at this lower $10 a day budget. We want to make sure that $10 a day is doing its best work, right? So $20 purchase, that's amazing. So we're going to lean into that one. Let's go do that on every single other one. So we'll click into each one and we'll just see like, where is it working? Where is it not working? All right. So this one, we can see cost per purchase is 30. Let's add in spend here, because I'm not seeing spend. So if you guys are always, oh, here it is, amount spent. So you can see it's spending the most money on that one. It's about $30 per purchase. And because it's spent though, these numbers too, it is like skewing our average a little bit higher, right? So now sometimes this is the case of like, I don't want to turn off stuff too early, because like if it costs $30 or $20 to purchase, maybe this one gets a sale tomorrow and it becomes like, wow, you know, that this is great. But for this example, just because you have been running these for a while and it's just not really spending a lot of money here on these ones, I'm probably going to turn these off as well and just lean into that one.
Okay.
Let's see here. Sometimes Facebook does get in ruts where, it won't spend money. Like you see this one over the last 60 days, it just has not spent money on that one. And the reason is because this one is just doing better, so to say. It's like getting more attention, it's getting more impressions. It's going to spend more money there. And this one actually has the most link clicks. See that? Where it's almost about $1 per link click. You spend about 61, and that's a really good click through price. Okay, so let's do that down to the next one. Basically, when I'm optimizing Facebook ads, this is what I do. I click all the way into the ads level. I kind of weed it down, and then I will work my way backwards across. And if I need to turn off ad sets, I will as well. So, okay, so here we kind of see a similar thing. Let's see, amount per purchase, super high, but then this one, super low.
Yes, it is.
Is this our Hobby Lobby interest? That would make sense. Well, yeah, look at that. So, this is our HGTV interest. So it's interesting that Hobby Lobby video you made is doing super well. $8 a purchase. This one is higher. So we're gonna kill our darlings here, whatever they call that, and lean into, $8 a purchase, we could do that all day.
Yep.
If we could get sub $10 purchases, you could just scale this thing to the moon.
Yep.
Because nothing on your site sells for $10, right? Like it's all $20 and up. So that'd be amazing. Cool. Well, this is some encouraging data here. Let's see here. One other thing, I'll just talk about it really quick that you can always check on, Camden. And this is something I've only recently been doing, but you click this little plus button and you can actually add anything you want to know. Like, I want to know how much, cost per click it's costing me, or I want to know, or am I getting any page likes out of this, or comments. You can add these things in if you're curious.
Okay.
But the one that I've been liking is the CTR, which stands for click-through rate.
Yes.
And this is a fun one to look at because you can see actually, this sounds low, but anything really above 1% is actually really good. And so you can actually, it sounds very low, but it's because people just impression. I think what Facebook calls an impression is just they just faintly just scrolled past it. It's just okay, we tried to show it to them. They might not even have hovered over it for that long, click-through rate, 3% is actually, this is one of your higher ones. This one was also fairly high, but you can tell what's resonating with that audience on a higher level by looking at the click-through rate. What is getting them to raise their hand and say oh, this is for me, So yeah, I like that. Sweet. Okay, so we trimmed down all those campaigns to, I think each one now has one ad running in it. Is that right? Yeah, so we have 3 running. Okay. And out of those, actually we have each one, right? We got the Hobby Lobby, we got the cow, and the HGTV. That's really interesting, huh? Let me see. In the DIY, we have the Highland cow. Interesting, it's not the DIY one, it's the Highland cow. Inside the HGTV interest, we have the Hobby Lobby, which is kind of the DIY video.
Yeah.
And then in the broad one, we have the HGTV. Isn't that funny? So it's this is if you guys are watching this on YouTube, take this with you. This is why you test stuff on Facebook, because sometimes what you think would work, right? We made it, Camden made a video that's all about the DIYers for the DIY audience. But if we limited ourselves to just running the DIY video to this audience, we would have short sold ourselves, because actually this one worked better for them. I don't know why. That one did have that one had a high click-through rates. Yeah, 5.7. So it did resonate with them, but they weren't buyers. At least not yet.
I think it's just the funny video on that one.
Yeah.
The HGTV video is not funny. The first one that's getting good things is funny. I don't know. Who knows?
It's so true. I don't know. I kind of feel maybe we should turn this one back on, only because this click-through rate is crazy high, and it has only spent $16. So let's do this. Let's turn this one back on. Okay. Give it another, week or so. If it spends, let's say, $25 and doesn't get a sale, turn it off.
Okay.
Let's just make a rule there. I think you can even create a rule here. I haven't gotten that advanced, but you could say, hey, if this gets 25 clicks, no sales, turn it off. You could do that, but just come back and check on this, because it could get a sale, like I said, tomorrow, and then you would have a, let's say, $17 purchase, and that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. And let me just double check the other one, see if there's any other, but this feels pretty good. Well, overall, that's pretty much it. As far as like optimizing your ads, that's the process I go through. And then I will do that maybe, it depends on how much you're spending. You're spending $1,000 a day, you're going to want to do that every day. If you're spending $10 a day, I would say once a week, once every other week, come back in here and check, because it's not like you're not able to make the decisions as fast. But what you'll do, because we narrowed this down to basically each one of these only has one video in it, now you can start comparing basically the data here on the ad set. So the next time you check in on this, maybe a week from now, you're going to want to see what I would do is I would, let's go last 7 days, right, instead of lifetime. And then I would start looking at cost per purchase. Let's see here. Let's go last 14. Let's see if I can get a purchase in here. Interesting. So there hasn't been any purchases recently from these. It was only at the very beginning.
I could go and look on Shopify. I don't remember the exact time.
Sometimes these numbers are a little bit delayed, but keep an eye on basically, instead of going into the ad level, because we already narrowed those down pretty much as far as we can, except for that one that has 2 in it. Keep an eye here. And then basically, because we want that $10 a day budget to go towards the best one. And so you might at some point just turn these 2 off. If they stay kind of high in this $40 per purchase range, I might just turn those off. And again, that average is based on those higher ones. So I think if you start looking at the 7-day, average, this should come down to like $10 to $20. But if they keep staying high, I would turn those off and put the full 10 into one, just into one of these, and just really kind of scale with that audience, so to say.
Okay. And I guess since I have so many products on my website, that I just basically do this in several different ways. Find other niches and do the same thing.
Exactly. So that's, you can scale this, this audience here, if I remember right, it's not that big, right? So let's say this ends up being your best audience here. Let me see how many people, 76,000 people in this. You can scale that pretty big, but it's not like millions and millions of people. So at some point, this ad will see a little bit of fatigue, so to say, where all 76,000 people have seen it, and they're like, all right, they've either made their choice to purchase or not at that point, but there are sometimes they see it a few times, like, oh, I keep meaning to buy that thing, or, oh, Christmas is coming up, a birthday's coming up, and they think of it. So it is that long-term brand awareness. But yeah, you have the right idea. You can scale this up definitely by increasing, once you get this, I would say a cost per purchase down under 20, you could increase the budget here, and that'll just increase how many clicks you get per day, how many viewers you get per day. And then from there, like you said, to scale horizontally, you could think about other products you have. I have this penguin product. Let's target penguin lovers, or whatever. I don't know other animals you have on there, bears.
I do have penguins.
You do have penguins?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, maybe there's something there. We'll do penguins next. And then I think we could maybe do this in another video, Camden. But I think it would be cool to talk about retargeting, because you have actually a lot of people. If we look at total clicks, right? In the last, or let's go lifetime, total clicks, you have about 400 people who went to your website, right? And out of this people, 10 people purchase. But I bet there's a percentage of those people who will purchase if we can stay on the top of their mind. And so how Facebook works is you pay kind of the most for the first touch point. You pay for this data here. They like cows, they like DIY. We paid for that data. Now that we've already defined this person as, this person, out of these 400 people, they like cows, they like DIY. We've already paid for that data. So to retarget them with a retargeting ad, how you go to a website and that website will follow you around the internet a little bit, hey, are you sure you don't want the cow? That it's actually really affordable. You can reach sometimes thousands of people for cents, 10 cents. So that would be a good next step is let's set up a retargeting ad that helps the fence sitters to get over the fence.
Yes.
Awesome. So there you have it. That's the process of optimizing your Facebook ads. Remember, this is a process. So go in, dial it down, and remember, any money you're spending on Facebook, you want to make that money do its best work. Okay, so do it what I just did. And if you're spending a higher number, go in more frequently and do that. Narrow it down, turn off things so that full budget can start going into the ads that are best performing, get the cost as low as possible until a point where you can scale it up and build your business through Facebook ads. And in the next video, stay tuned. We're going to do another video talking about retargeting and how to really steward your ad spend, right? You already spent money to get this person to your website. Maybe they didn't buy the first time, but maybe if you can share with them an ad that's going to help them over the fence, that's going to give them a sweet bonus or something that's going to bring them back to your website, it'll increase sales and allow you to do more with spending less.